down to the bass line.
Welcome to Skadi Podcast with Aurelian and Allison. This is our second episode, and I think our first episode went pretty well, don't you think?
And it was a bit weird, honestly. But
Well,
I think this one's gonna go a lot better.
I think we just need to get used to speaking all the time, because as soon as like a tiny pause, it gets a bit awkward, and especially if we're interviewing someone.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to speak all the time, we just have to, talk about interesting stuff. And so that our viewers, you, won't be bored.
I bet that on other podcasts they get quiet sometimes, but they edit it, so they just remove the quiet part. But I'm too lazy to do that, so I just put it. It's like speaking live, so
Yeah, and you don't really have to remove it. I actually listened to a podcast and was completely fine with them being silent. They kind of searched the stuff and stuff.
for how long were they silenced though?
10 seconds or something.
Oh, that's a long time. Let's try it. Let's see.
No, let's not try that.
10 seconds is a long time. All right, let's see. We got a couple of topics today, and the first topic was
Esports as a sport.
yeah.
So, me personally, I see esports as, competitive gaming, as it is. And usually when I say esports, I think StarCraft and League of Legends and Dota. How about you?
Yeah, like competitive gaming, but is esport a sport? Because if you would have asked me before I started playing, because my first competitive game was probably StarCraft 2, and I never played Warcraft or StarCraft 1 or anything like that. I played Counter-Strike, but never competitive. But if you would ask me before I started playing, is playing video games a sport, I would say no, because I would associate sports with doing something physical, like it should be a challenge for your body to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then again, chess is a sport, right?
Yeah, I was going to get to that, because chess is a sport and it's not really physically hard to do, but
It's mentally.
yeah. So you're using your hand and your fingers, but you're using your brain the most, right?
Yes, but if anything, you can say the same thing about esports as a sport, because Dota requires, for example, really you have to think very fast, you have to move your fingers incredibly fast, and synergy
Yeah, right.
and communication, just as in any sport like football or basketball.
Yeah, and I would say like video games or computer games, it's like chess, but you have more moves to make. You understand?
Yeah.
Like you have so much more in the game to do. There's so many different things you're able to do in the game that you have to think about, and especially team games. Like you have to be able to communicate well, and all around be really good at this game to go professional.
And I think Dota, for example, League of Legends and stuff, I just relate Dota because I play that more.
Yeah.
It's a bit different than chess, because you can't really expect, because there isn't really restrictions as in chess, because there's restrictions a lot more than in Dota, because in Dota, like, the enemy team can just 5-man push mid or Roshan level 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Imagine if they put a Roshan in chess.
That'd be hilarious.
You get an Aegis, and you get back to life when the other guy wins.
Yeah, that would be quite hilarious.
Yeah, but what would you think about esports getting into the Olympic sports?
I think it's fine, but it'd be really weird, because I think if they would put esports as a sport in Olympics, it would have to be a different category, if you know what I mean.
What kind of are there categories? Because I know nothing about that, even though
Neither do I, but it'd be like, in a certain way, you'd be like electronic Olympics or something.
yeah,
It's because there are so many games that are like games, like computer games. For example, Smash. It's one category, and then there's Dota, and then there's Counter-Strike, and then Call of Duty. And then it would have to be a section of electronics, and would have to be dealt more. sections, because it'd be FPS, RTS, you know.
I read about some guy wrote this article about esports getting into the Olympic sports like game, and the comments below it were so negative, like that. How could anybody think that playing a game is a sport? How can, like, Olympic sport has been with us for so long? I have no idea how long, so it doesn't have to be a long period necessarily. But there were so many negative comments that people would stop watching the Olympic sport if they started sending like the whole thing together with video games.
I think it wouldn't be together; it'd be separate. But it would have Olympics in the name, and it would have a big fund.
So when they say send Olympic sports on TV, they wouldn't send the esport part of it. They would send the esport part of it like
separate.
Why?
I don't know, because I think that casual viewers that watch Olympics are a bit, in a way, they are not used to change, and it would be a really gradual change, you know?
Yeah, but do you watch Olympic sports on TV now?
I don't.
So if they started sending Dota and Counter-Strike and stuff, would you start watching it?
Probably.
Yeah, so I think the people that don't agree with it, that probably would stop watching the Olympic sport just to, you know, like make their voice heard. They would stop watching it.
I don't think they would actually stop.
Probably not, but they would threaten to do it, right? They would say, I will stop watching this because you're sending esports. But imagine how many more people they would get to watch esports, or I mean Olympic sports on TV. Like how many more people want to go to these places? Like just look at DreamHack and TI. Like there's so many viewers, so many fans. Like it's so big. That
Not only that, but it would have a huge funding because, for example, TI, it gets such a huge funding.
Yeah.
Now imagine if Olympics would fund Dota.
Yeah.
Plus the community, it'd be huge.
Yeah, I see no problem with it. It should just get clumped together with the whole sport and just be shown on TV, just the exact same as everything else. And then of course there's gonna be people over the age of 50, and I'm not trying to draw everyone on one line because I think there's people over 50 that enjoy games or watching them. They have nothing against it, but I think they are more, like you said, people are not don't want the change, and if they're used to watching the Olympic sports with no gaming on, and all of a sudden there's gaming, obviously they're not gonna be happy about it.
Yeah, but one thing that I wonder is how would they do it? You know, because would they do it as teams play against each other, or would it be 1v1s or something?
It would probably be like now, like the like EG, you know, the clans, Navi.
Yeah, but then again, like there's not football on Olympics because it's a, you know what I mean?
No.
I don't know how to explain this, kind of difficult.
I bet if it would go into the Olympic, can you imagine parents in like 20 years being like, oh, what are you doing, son? I'm playing Dota. Oh, that's good. You're getting really good. Like you want your son to be playing a lot because maybe he's really, really good and he can get even better. I remember when I was really young, if I played video like games too much, my parents would be like, oh, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your life. Like, why are you playing this so much? And I never went pro or anything, but imagine how parents would be in the future. I have no idea how parents are today with very young.
It really depends on the parents. Some parents are very open-minded.
Yeah.
And some are completely not.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Some people are supportive. I've actually seen really supportive parents, but they have restrictions. Like you have to do well in school because, you know, game is not as widespread as it will be in the future.
Yeah.
Because I bet in future there'll be a lot more competitive gaming in general, more games that are created for esports.
Because I was thinking about it the other day that if my son or daughter, doesn't matter, starts playing a game, I will be so happy because I'll be like, oh, okay, are you good? Yeah, I'm getting pretty good. Okay, now you go pro. You like I won't tell my child to like jump out of school, but
Exactly.
I'll be, I don't know. my parents weren't that into gaming. They knew nothing about it, so they weren't really happy when I was gaming. So I see it. I have a different perspective. I know what they're doing. I know, like, hopefully, because I don't know what games will be current at when I have a child, but I'll be more interested in stuff like that. I see it as an opportunity to become good at something and maybe earn actual money on it. And especially if there's Olympic sport, can you imagine how many like new teams would develop from that?
Yeah, there would be quite a lot. But then again, there would be problem of teenagers just sitting in their room, which is also a problem, I'm pretty sure. But they get kind of out of shape, you know?
Yeah, that's another problem. Getting out of shape. But like, isn't it up to everyone to just do something about it? Then, like, they can sit in the room, even though you understand. Like, there's always a problem about teenagers staying in the room. And, I don't know, eating chips and just playing video games all day long. And can you imagine in 20, 30 years if we have really good virtual reality where you just sit and you get transported into a new world?
Oh, kind of like this anime, Sword Art Online, where you put this gear on your head and you kind of, it's kind of like neurotechnology.
Yeah.
So you kind of, yeah. But I think there should be, like, when they do the Olympic esports, they should be encouraging the athletes who play the, like, esports to be active, because it will improve your physical health and mental health at the same time.
Yeah.
Because mental health really is very important in Dota and any other sport. Because it makes your mind clear and you can concentrate and you can do a lot more than before. At least that's my opinion.
If virtual reality, if that game like in Sword Art Online was real, I would be so fat. Like, I would be online 24 hours a day. Well, not 24 because I'll probably sleep, or I'll sleep in the game, you know, and sleep in real life, and then I will wake up in the game. So, or you know what? I wouldn't even be fat because I would forget to eat real food.
Yeah, but let's return to Dota 2.
Yeah.
And now that we went from Olympics, let's talk about how old do you have to be to actually play in the Olympics or esports in general.
Yeah.
For example, the prodigy Sumail, who's from Pakistan, he's 15 years old and won quite a lot of tournaments and is actually really good.
Yeah.
And that's pretty nice, right? But and he plays with one of the big oldest players in Dota, Fear, who's 27 years old, which isn't very old, but still. I think it's past the usual how old you have to be to play esports, because a lot of people think you have slow reaction time.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Who's the youngest? Like, who was the youngest player?
I think that Zai started a lot earlier than Sumail. Yeah, I think he was 14 or 13, and in Han, he played competitively.
I know Dandy started at a really young age.
I think he was 14 as well.
14, yeah. I'm looking now, he's 25, so he's also getting to that, like, older player.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast with Heaton. You know Heaton, the Counter-Strike player?
I don't.
Alright, he's a Counter-Strike player from Sweden that, like, he just was pretty much the best Counter-Strike player at the beginning, and he was one of the new professional gamers. Like, esport was taking off, and he was like he was one of the professional players that started esports, like that was with it when it started to grow. Anyway, he's I think about 27 today, and he retired when he was 23 because he said he was getting too old. But not just that, he also wanted to quit because he was so like, you know, when you're ahead you should quit.
Yeah.
He was so ahead, like he won several tournaments in a row, and then he just quit. So he started, but he said he the oldest guy in his team, because he's coaching the team Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's coaching that team, or he's doing something with that team. I think he's a coach. And the oldest guy in the team is 27, and he said, well, it all depends on the person itself, because some people need to stop at 25 years old because they're not able to keep up with the younger players. But if you can keep up, you have an advantage because you've been playing for so long. You have the experience of the game, so you know the mechanics even better, and you have the reaction time, etc. you need.
In a way, you really don't have to have the reaction time because you already can expect them to be there if you're just that experienced.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. But what do you think would happen if then esports would become Olympics? Then how young is the limit to playing Olympics or just esports in general do you think should be?
How old are the Olympic athletes now? I have no idea how old they are, but I bet they're not that old.
I can look it up.
Yeah, because I bet because it's all the same. Because when you get older, especially with like Olympic sports, you can't be doing you can't practice as much as you want when you're older, the same way when you were younger. But when it comes to PC gaming, you don't really need to worry about having maybe your wrist hurting and your back hurting from sitting down, etc. But when you're doing Olympic lifting, when you get older, you can't practice Olympic lifting every day of the week. Some Olympic lifters lift every day of the week and twice a day. So that wears on your body. So when you're young, that's okay. But when you get older, I think it's a bit hard. And the coaches want you to practice and practice and practice. And I don't want to talk about steroids, but I think steroids is a big deal of it. And you don't need that in esports. You don't need steroids to get good at a computer game. So I think you could actually get older because we would have older players just practicing a lot.
But I think in esports there would be some way to boost your brain activity, or rather, how great can you concentrate?
So cheating in a way?
In a way, like steroids, there would be steroids for your brain in a certain way.
Like ADHD medicine or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe they have to test the players before the tournaments.
By the way, the oldest people who have been in Olympics, Arthur von Graz of Austria, competed at the age of 72 in dressage in 1936.
1936. Okay, but
He was at age 72, by the way.
But look at the latest athletes.
Latest?
I don't know. Do you have like a list of the athletes of different years? Because if you could look up 20... when was the last Olympic?
I think it was in 2012 or 2000, something like that.
Yeah, but I'm guessing they're pretty young, and then I have... How?
2014, I think.
Oh.
No, that was winter, I think.
Yeah, but I know I would watch Olympic sports on TV. Actually, I would want to watch it now, but I just miss it. I don't know. It's just boring watching it. I love watching people lift weights, but the Olympics is so boring for me for some reason. But if esports was on there, like when TI gets on TV, or DreamHack tournaments and etc., for me it's really exciting.
Yeah, I agree. Because esports kind of brings different audiences to Olympics. So you kind of get more viewers and a lot more people who get interested and find new things that they might be interested in themselves.
Yeah.
By the way, I checked in London 2012, the oldest competitor was Hiroshi Hotetsu, who was 71.
Wow, okay. Then I take back everything I said. That's pretty old.
Yeah, but again, that's because I think there's a difference between mental age and physical age.
Yeah.
Because physical age you can kind of work on it, but mental age deters, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It kind of falls off.
I wonder if there's probably different group categories, like age categories in the Olympics.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, like senior. That's probably, yeah.
But there's another thing that I wonder is how young you must be to enter the esport, the scene in general. Because I mean, if you would be 7, you wouldn't really join, would you? You wouldn't really allow the child to join.
But why not? Oh well, yeah. But why not? Like, if you're 7 and you're just destroying everyone and you're like one of the best, do you really need to wait until you're what, 14, 15?
But I don't think it'd be that good for the child himself because of the attention and things. You know, when you have a lot of attention and then you suddenly have zero attention.
Yeah, but think of the actors, child actors. It's the same there, right? And of course,
But the thing is worse, especially in esports, is because the community is not very forgiving. If you know what I mean.
yeah.
If you fuck up once, they'll remember it for the rest of their lives.
But I think it's the same. And like actors, I think it's the same. But it's actors get more attention because movies in general is bigger than esports. I would say everybody's watching movie, not everybody's watching like esports. So if an actor messes something up, at least in America, they'll show it everywhere. You know, in newspapers, on TV. This
But
guy
the
said that. This guy did that, and they'll get such bad, like everybody hating on this guy.
The
So it's-
difference, though, is that, for example, if you play Dota as a professional gamer, people will recognize you, or just in internet. You can't escape internet. If you play games, you can't escape the games and internet in general.
yeah.
And I mean, you can escape newspapers and such if you are a child actor.
Yeah, but it happens on the internet as well, of course. Like, if you do something and you're famous, they're gonna write about you everywhere on Twitter, Instagram, on Facebook, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Who reads newspaper nowadays? You read the news on the internet, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, but it's a good comparison, I think, because I agree with you that a 7-year-old, that's maybe a bit much for a 7-year-old, because you look at these young actors, they get so much so fast, and they usually do silly stuff with it, with drugs or vandalizing, and they don't really know what to do with all the attention and the money, and they think they are the greatest person that's ever lived on this planet.
Exactly.
So I think it's go
And
over the head.
some people even abuse the popularity.
Yeah. But what would you put the age restriction? How old do you think you have to
I
be?
think 14 would be enough. 14, 13.
Is there an age restriction today in esports? Like, is there
I mean-
you need to be this old? Maybe the teams have it, like EG. Like, if you wanna join us, you have to be this old.
Let me check.
Because I'm guessing there shouldn't be. That would be weird, but yeah. Maybe it is difficult to be that good and that young at the same time. Maybe when you start getting into the teenager, like 13, 14, 15, you start getting really good at the game. Because a 7-year-old, like, I've seen competitive 7-year-olds, but how competitive can you be as a 7-year-old? How much do you want to commit when you're that young?
Yeah.
Maybe like sitting and doing the same thing over and over again several hours a day just to be really, really good, like the best. Maybe this kid rather go outside and do something else. I don't know, play with your friend, because a lot of these players, I think Heaton said the same thing. Like, instead of being outside and playing or being with your friends, he was at home practicing, and it all started because he was playing hockey, I think, and he broke something in his foot, so he had to stay in the whole summer, and he was really bad at Counter-Strike, so he just started playing, and he was thinking, I'm gonna show my friends I can improve. So he did it because he had to stay inside, and then when he became better and he started he could see that he's one of the greatest, or when he started becoming one of the greatest, he started putting more time into it. And he said he played 11 hours? No, 14 to 15 hours a day.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
The thing is the same thing happened to Chuan, if you know the Victus Gaming Team or IG player. He was actually really good at basketball, but he broke some bone or something, or twisted his ankle. He couldn't play more basketball, so he found out Dota by friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And he became really good at Dota. And he started playing competitive. By the way, about the age limit, the youngest, I don't think there was actually found the age limit. There was one guy who said that it's must be 12.
Hmm.
I think 12 is kind of good.
Did he give a reason why it should be 12?
I don't know. No, he didn't give it, but I think it's kind of bit makes sense. But I think it more depends on the person
Yeah.
who's playing the game, because some children are very mature and some are not, completely immature.
Yeah, and I can think I can see it like this. If a 8-year-old guy or person, because it can be a girl, is really good at a game, the parents would probably not want this kid to fly to other countries by himself or with a team to play in tournaments, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's like maybe on the computer at home, like these online tournaments, but flying around, and most of these teams want you flying around and playing in tournaments as often as possible. So I think that is a problem as well.
I think actually 13 would be the best age limit.
Yeah.
Because it's the kind of time that parents usually give more responsibility to you as a child. So yeah.
It's funny though that you come from like physical sport and something happens, so you can't be physically active anymore, so you go to video or computer games. Because I say video games, but I mean all kinds of games, and you stop playing games, and you have this competitive side of you that just you can't stop. So you get good at this game, but you get really really good at it, so you just stop practicing, just like any other sport.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
I asked my girlfriend. I asked her, what do you think? Like, she's not interested in esports at all. And I asked her, what do you think we should talk about? That even though you're not interested, what do you want to know from people that are interested? And she said, I want to know what's so interesting about sitting in front of a computer, and she said, clicking buttons all day long.
The problem is that people usually oversimplify things for games in general, because it's kind of like, if we talk about Counter-Strike, you're basically clicking one button over and over again and mashing your keyboard against a monitor. If you say it like that, it sounds completely idiotic and so boring. If you say it indifferently, for example, Dota, if we say you make new strategies, you think of what the enemy does, you try to calculate, that makes everything so much more exciting. Like, sounds so much exciting.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think the people that they're not interested at all in gaming, they don't want to know this complicated side of it. They look at you playing and like, oh, you play the same thing over and over again, and you're just sitting in front of the computer. It's not interesting for them. So then when you try to explain it, it becomes less interesting. Do you understand? Like, you ask someone, why do you like repairing computers or repairing cars, and you know absolutely nothing about cars, and this guy starts telling you everything about repairing a car. He's talking Chinese to you because you know nothing about it. So you just become less interested. You're like, okay. I just see you repairing the same thing over and over again. But he sees like parts and different kind of cars, and he just loves it. It's the same with gaming. Like, people that don't understand or that don't play the game, they will never understand the game.
I think you have to compare it to something that the other person loves to do. For example, if a person is a mechanic, it's he likes technology and putting things together. And Dota is kind of putting things together as well, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You just put the carry does the thing, the support does the thing, the offlane does the thing, and together they just dominate the other team or just become destroyed by the other team because they are not cooperating with each other.
Yeah. And you always want to get better, and it becomes some kind of addiction as well. Like, I know when I play Dota and I lose a game, I don't want to stop. I want to keep playing because I want to win a game. And when I win a game, I want to keep winning. But then I lose a game and I get mad, and I think to myself I can do better, so I'll just play another game and then just I won't do the same mistake. So it becomes like some sort of addiction. But I was thinking the social part. People that don't play games have no idea how social it is. Like the people you meet, the people you start talking with.
Yeah, because for example, Dota, I've made actually quite a lot of friends through Dota. There's multiple things, like, it's amazing how much you actually are social in Dota. And sometimes you're even more social than people who go outside and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Through gaming you can make a lot of friends.
Yeah, and like even though it might sound like, I don't know, silly, a person you become friends with on the internet might be one of the best friends you'll ever get.
Yeah.
Like it might be a person on the other side of the planet. That's what's so amazing about it.
Exactly, and if anything, you usually get to interact a lot more than outside, because outside has restrictions. And when you play games, you don't have that many restrictions, except probably internet connection.
Yeah.
So yeah. By the way, how long have we been talking?
It's been 31 minutes.
31 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's stop this podcast, because I think it's quite a lot. I'm kind of running out of what to talk.
Yeah, but we brought up our topics and talked a little bit about other stuff as well. So I think that's good. That's a good second podcast.
Exactly, and this has been Allison and Aurelian. This has been also Skadi Productions, and hopefully we'll see you in the next podcast, if we make one, that is.
Yeah, boy.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Get down to the B side.